We have something very special tonight. One of our regulars here who's been coming for quite a while, who's a very special and talented man, good friend, and funny guy. And he slips me Werther's Originals candies once in a while, which is really cool. I love him for various different reasons other than that. His name is Pickleweed Paul. Let's give it up for Paul, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Today is my niece's 41st birthday. Please join me in singing happy birthday to her for the video. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joy. Happy birthday to you. 60 years ago, on this very date, a surprise was being prepared for me right before my very eyes. A devil's food cake was being baked in my mom's big yellow mixing bowl, the largest of a set of 4 color-coded nesting Pyrex bowls, blue, red, green, yellow, in ascending order of capacity. The next day was to be my 15th birthday. In total secrecy, the cake was taken out of the yellow mixing bowl, turned upside down on a cookie sheet, and to create the most memorable birthday cake of my youth, chocolate frosting, blue frosting piping, red frosting bill laid out on the cookie sheet to create a baseball cap. I was consumed by baseball. Just a year or so earlier, I had been called into my high school counselor's office. I was failing freshman English, where I sat beside Sharon Averill. There's a lot to be said in favor of single-sex classes in adolescence. Now, Paul, we know you're smarter than this. Failing English. We have your test scores. Mr. Rao, I don't need to study English. I'm going to be a professional baseball player. Of this I was certain. The year before, in 8th grade, the school had changed the rules because of me. I always hit the ball over the wall. Always. The other boys had to run out into the street and dodge cars to retrieve it. So it became, and Natasha has seen the wall. It's really not all that big, but it was a wall that was sizable for an 8th grader. So it became unlawful to hit the ball over said wall. Well, that was schoolyard softball. So my freshman year, I went out for the freshman baseball team, and I saw my very first curveball. I began to study English. Now, football is a macho sport, and it's okay when leaves are blowing. And basketball is fine inside when all outside is snowing. But when spring is in the meadow and robins start to sing, that old familiar feeling, well, it can only mean one thing. The Star-Spangled Banner and the smell of fresh popped corn and that old-time organ music makes you glad that you were born. Come on home to baseball. Come on home to baseball. With a hot dog and a cold drink, you'll be feeling like a kid. Come on home to baseball. Come back home to baseball. In the bosom of America, you'll be so glad you did. Now when the umpire yells, play ball, and you're sitting beside your girl, your troubles, they're all out of here, and all's right with the world. And there's nothing like the crack of the bat on the home run ball you hear, or the rush you feel when the entire ballpark stands as one to cheer, or the silence when it's 3-2 in the ninth and there are 2 away, and the score's all tied and the bases are loaded, and you hear somebody pray, come on home to baseball, come back home to baseball, to the bosom of America. You'll be so glad you did. Now, some of you know that I'm a preacher's kid. I always had to know the correct answers in Sunday school. Now, you think that World Series pressure is something for these 29-year-old millionaires. You try being a 7-year-old preacher's kid in Sunday school. That's pressure. Now, this next song is loaded with biblical and baseball allusions and double meanings, like the double play on the Old Testament book of Ruth and George Herman Babe Ruth, the greatest baseball player ever, mathematically provable. If you take the good book and you take a good look, you will find the first baseball game. It says Eve stole first and Adam second. Solomon umpired the game. Rebecca went to the well with the pitcher, and Ruth in the field made a name. Goliath was struck out by David, a base hit made on Abel by Cain, and the prodigal son made a great home run. Brother Noah gave checks out for rain. Now old St. Pete was checking errors, also had charge of the gates. Salome sacrificed Big John the Baptist, who wound up ahead on the plate. Delilah was pitching to Samson when he brought down the house with a clout. And the angels that day made a double play. That's when Adam and Eve were thrown out. Now Jonah wailed and went down swinging. Later he popped up again. A line drive by old Nebuchadnezzar made Daniel warm up in the pen. Satan was pitching that apple. It looked as though he might fan them all. But then Joshua let go with a mighty blow, and he blasted one right at the wall, shouting, come along and let's play ball. This is a short little song from about 1900. An umpire is a cross between a bullfrog and a goat. He has a voice See, I told you, didn't I tell you I was going to screw up the ones I knew? An umpire is a cross between a bullfrog and a goat. He has a mouth that's flannel-lined and brass tubes in his throat. He needs a cool and level head that isn't hard to hit. So when the fans beat up his frame, they'll have a nice place to sit. The only job that's worse is driver on a hearse. How'd you like to be an umpire? like this is merely play. Why, he don't even have to ask for all the things that fly his way. When the crowd yells, knock his block off! Soak him good, says every fan. Then who wants to be an umpire? Oh, the umpire is a most unhappy man.